Good morning. Yes, it's Lou. And I got my glasses on. I'm going to just keep them on. uh, it's Sunday morning, and it is December 5th. I had to look for the month. You'd think I wouldn't forget it was December. Anyway, I don't know what I was doing when I last talked to you, but I'm sure I was probably sewing. I've started on my daughter's quilt. What should I tell you about it? I probably have already told you about it. I'm gonna do a quilt that I'm not saying my right words, okay? A person on here, she's in my history. In fact, I shared it to my post. So if anybody wants to go look at my post. There's a video there. This woman who is teaching you how to, I don't even know my right words anymore. Quilt as you go, but not using sashing. Not having to roll those things and make the case around each block. I mean, that was pretty. But I'm going to try my hand at not doing that because it kind of does hurt my hands. Too much binding. Because every single square was bound. I mean, that's a lot of work. So, the household has been sick. And it's finally come calling at my door. So we'll hope that I don't get too sick. This is my philosophy, that you try to take care of it ahead of time. When it's happening, you know, you don't wait until you're... Not to say that I won't be in bad shape, but a lot of times if you take care of the symptoms, when you have symptoms, don't ignore them, take care of them, then you'll prevent getting something worse. I know what I'm talking about. I can't believe how fast this sewing machine will go. That's pretty neato. I mean, maybe my other ones did an ouch in the past, but I think I better get away from there. Okay, let's move a little bit. My knee just hit some metal. I don't want to be doing that. My desk is a disaster. Because this is how it is. All right, so go to my post if you're interested in that, because it looks like it's going to be really pretty. And then I saw it up on a wall, so it was. And I don't mean really pretty. What's my right words? You know, because you might not like the choices that she made. The thing that I like is that I can quilt as you go. And I don't have to have a lot of different... I have a lot of different steps in the beginning, but not at the end. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm on the first leg. I don't know if you'd call it the first leg. But because the first leg, I've already told you, you got to think about what you're doing, and you got to figure out the colors, and then you got to find the colors, and not just the colors, you got to find the material that you want. Now, maybe I don't need to be doing cotton. Maybe I could have just done polyester. But polyester is plastic. So say there's a fire on your bed. You know, like someone who let a cigarette burn down or whatever, because that happens. I can't believe anybody can afford to fucking smoke. Now I'm going to have to put that on my words. Bad words, Mary Lou. But I'm serious, my God. It's a horrible, horrible habit, but that's not the deal. How can you afford to pay? If you had a pack-a-day habit, how can you afford to pay $8 a day? You got other bills to pay. And those of you who are going out to eat all the time and paying a fortune for that. What's the deal, man? It must be nice. I've never been able to afford to go out all the time. I mean, there was a time when I would go out and just get a hamburger because it was cheaper to get the hamburger than to go home and try to cook a meal. And I would have this hunger, like I always do anyway, but I would have this hunger, and I'll use the word insatiable, because getting sick because you're hungry. So I would pull in the McDonald's and get a hamburger. That was back when hamburgers were a lot cheaper. But it would take care of that hunger pain is my deal. So now I need to have things in the house that do that for me. And yes, here's a clue. Diabetes. Taking the classes about diabetes. The hospital put it on and I took them because I was freaked out. That's weird. Oh, it's still there. It's like my mold has disappeared, but it hasn't. The outside stuff has. And I don't have a reason for that either. Okay, so the diabetes. I know I was going to give you a trick. I don't know if it was a trick. If you are suffering from diabetes, you need to watch it. And the big deal is, do not sit down and stuff yourself with things. Okay? That's what I was going to tell you, is you look up the definition of a diabetic. It is someone who does not eat a balanced diet. And I don't know if diet is the word, a balanced meal. When you sit down to eat, you're supposed to have all the ingredients, meaning protein, vegetables, I guess some starch. You don't have to. But anyway, they divided up a plate and showed us what we could eat, okay? You can eat all the meat you want. You can eat all the vegetables you want. I mean, the green ones. Some of those other ones, maybe not. But I don't think it's diabolical. That's not the right word. I don't think it would be detrimental. But anyway, what was my thought? My thought was that we are all about fast food. And we're all about, our country is all about fast food. And our lifestyle, the way things are, life is so busy. And food, I have my opinions about that too, because food goes bad. So here you have a hard time making the money, and you go spend it on food that goes bad, and you throw it in the garbage can. So basically it's habits. Habits of not having a balanced meal. And I was called a grazer, and I would bet you that we all are. We get hungry and we go to the fridge and look for something to eat instead of having a meal. So there you go. That's just some information. Because I'm still guilty. Guilty. So when you do find things to eat, you need to find protein. You need to find other things. And the deal is, now this is just my way of thinking, if you're going to have something sweet, you need to have some of those other things to go with it. Now me and my Papa Bear, I have a feeling we're struck with the same stick, as in, you get hungry, you get sick. Period. And that makes for a grumpy person too, if they're sick. It's like, give me some damn food. But food doesn't always take care of the problem. Anyway, I'm not sure how far I'm going to get today. Depends on what happens with the day. But as far as my daughter's quilt goes, I know I started on that. She went with me, we went shopping, we picked out her colors. I just don't know if I have enough of it to do what I want to do. But I have cut it all up, and I'm glad to not have to do the casing. I think it will be a lot easier. And see, one of the ways we thought about doing is just sewing these, the top part together. But I'm sewing it with the batting. And then I will be attaching the backing. And it's weird. I'm going to circle back around to this quilt, okay? So it's different. And you start the first row is the more technical. I don't know my right words to use. But the first row, now she made 10 cent squares. Mine are only 6.5, so it's going to take more. But she would start with her first block. So the back is the pretty side out. And then the batting is next, and then the top. But the batting is a 1/2 inch, and you can do it a little bit more. It's a 1/2 inch recessed away from the edges, so that when you're sewing these things together, you don't have to sew through the batting. But if you do, it's not a big deal. So right now I've just been in assembly line mode. I cut all the things, and then I cut the material, and then I cut all the quilt batting. And then yesterday when I was putting these together, I had to shape each square because they were not perfect. They were a little messed up. And if they're not perfect, then it makes your project not perfect. And we want our project perfect. Snipping a thread over there. There. I think I'll just learn to drink coffee cold because that is what I got going on. Oh, really? I need to get back to that. Anyway, so what have I done? I cut all the pieces, cut all the batting, and I don't know if it's all of it. I've cut a lot. And I've got almost every single square done as far as the batting with, the batting with material. Damn, that hurt. I'm full of bad words today. It's not really a bad word. Anyway, years and years and years ago, I'm going to skip to another story. Years and years and years ago, I hurt myself right here. It cut me. I was on a job. It was a container corp, and I was on a machine. They should have never put me on that machine. I was on a machine where I would take a container that's going to have a metal bottom, but it's a cardboard otherwise. So you put the container over this thing, and then the metal comes down, and then it's supposed to seal around the can, and then you take it off. Okay, well, there's a reason for the side story. Because I just got hurt. It lets me know which finger it was. But anyway, I got my thing going on, and the metal comes down, and then it goes to spin around, and it's coming at me, and it's sharp. I mean, these are pieces of metal that are like razor blade sharp coming at me. And what was my reaction? What was my first thought? Catch it. I freaking caught it and cut my finger. They had to take me, I assume they took me to the hospital to have it checked out. All I know is it cut my nerves. And that was so many years ago. My daughter was maybe 2. So how many years? 47. And I just touched that, but I think it touched my ring. The metal hit it just right. Sent a shock on. She says, "Hey, that hurt." What are you doing? Well, that's what I was doing, hurting myself. So I don't know what I was talking about when I skidded off to that. But I am excited about the quilts. And the more I do, the better it'll be. And I'm thinking, I hope this particular way of doing it suits my fancy, because I don't want to deal with all that trim casing stuff. Now, when I got through and I did the trim, I'm calling it trim, but the binding around the outside of the quilt, that went really well. It went better than I thought it would. I'm keeping these things attached so I don't have to cut my thread. I don't have that many more to go before I'm going to start on the second thing. Right now, all I'm doing is this. I'm doing the first thing. There's the strip right there, and there'll be another one over here before I'm done, and then before I'm totally done, there'll be two going across. It's her technique how she does it, but it pretty wonderful if it works, and it worked for her. So I talked to somebody the other day, and I asked him, I says, are you a mechanic of any sort? And he said, I'm a YouTube certified mechanic. Which I like, because you go to YouTube and they'll teach you how to do anything, right? And you got to have the gumption to do it, and you got to be fairly good to begin with in order to, you know, like things that I do. I can't afford to waste any material. I can't afford to waste anything. So you don't want to just try your hand at things unless you've got... Of course, I'm talking automobile parts are a lot more expensive than what I'm doing. But maybe not when you add everything together. So anyway, what I'm doing right now, which I probably have already told you, is just this part. Next, I'm doing the second row, and it'll look like that. You can't hardly see it. But when it's all said and done, it will be a tic-tac-toe effect. Just do the, you'll see it, I think. just go to that video that I shared. Because she goes from beginning to end, and it's only 30 minutes, so it's not too bad. And yes, I'm getting sick, so I need to do as much as I can before I do get sick. Because out of the quilts that I wanted to do, this will be the first one. And I've got 5. Unless somebody takes that one. And that one is super. So I don't know. Just have to have my daughter just doesn't want to know. She wants it to be a surprise. And that's where I always failed. I wasn't good at surprises. And I would buy her things early for Christmas, and I just couldn't keep it away from her. In other words, look what I did. I'm setting these up so that I can... See, I've only been doing this one side on these. I got a big old stack that has to have 2 sides. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all these ready to go. And then I'm going to go play with it on my bed. You know, lay out the squares on my bed to see where I want them to go. I was going to give Jessica the opportunity to work with me on it, but I don't think she wants to. Excuse me. She's so caught up in the surprise part. I told her, I said, I'll buy you something else. I just kind of need some help on this. I don't want to put all this effort, and it does cost money too, to not have it appreciated. I want it to be right, is my point. Not too bad, not too bad. Can you see that? You can't even see the thing, sorry. All right, so. I'm almost done with this single line stuff, and then I'll be on the second line. And after I do that, I will play. And I know I just said that too. Yeah, I've listened to my videos. I see that I do repeat myself. Sorry about that. Last one. Now see, it's not really the last one, but it's the last one that has batting, because I ran out. I ran out of the cut up batting. But I'm really close to the end, because I think there's just a few more. Unless she wants to choose some more colors, but she's not gonna. So that's okay. I can work with what I got. And I do think it'll be easier to just have, you know, the one color on the back. But this lady, if you watch her, I think it's that video, because I've watched 2 videos. She thought the same thing I did. It'd be nice to have different squares on the back too, so it's not just one color. But I think it'll be beautiful just one color. So Jessica's is going to be gray, about, I'm not sure, one of those 2 colors. I was thinking, and I'm still thinking, I'm going to find some, get some charcoal gray for Kevin. That depends. I mean, Jessica said something about Kevin taking that quilt that I made, which I was going to put up for the auction, and also not just the auction, for myself. I figured it was too bright and flamboyant, but it's actually really nice. Okay. So, there we are. I got a stack over there, I'm pretty sure has got both. Let me go look. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay. This stack already has the 2 lines. And then I got a big old stack over here I got to sew the second line on. This one has 2 lines, so it can go with that pack. I'll put that down there. That stack is what I've got to sew the second line on. I don't know how many squares I've got. And we were trying to figure that out last night. She didn't even want to help me with that, little turkey. How many times you going to ask me? Well, I mean, I just want to make sure I got it right. 4 feet across is too much. 3 feet is not enough, so we're going to go 3.5 feet. That's 42 inches. And I think that should be sufficient. So, and then the length, I just don't know. Because a lot of throws are what? 50 by 60? I really don't know what they are. I guess I'll have to look it up again. I know that we looked up the blankets, and they were, the biggest one they had was 60 by 80. And that first quilt I made is 60 by 78. Not the first one, the second one. Because the first one, I trimmed it so it's finished. The mug rug quilt is 49 inches across and 6 feet long. So 4 by 6. That's almost, 42 inches is almost 48. And see, the 48 seemed really big to me. I really don't know. But if she's not going to help me, then she's going to get what she gets, right? Because I'm after it. I am after it, and I will be started on this quilt today. But see, I can't say started. I already started on it. I started on it when I bought the material, and then I cut the material, and then I assembled the material. I'm just talking about before you ever do the joining of everything. But you are doing part of the quilting as you're doing that, so that's really nice. I've got material everywhere. See, this is all Jesse's, okay. But then here's some, I don't know if you call that blue or purple. And then there's some of this, it's cranberry, but it's that flower print. And then there's the cranberry solid print. And then down there's other things. Ah! shoot. Okay, I gotta put you down. Shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's topple it over. I lifted what was underneath it and it made it fall down. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put these over here. Ow. And I will go put this stack that's already done back over here. We don't want to mess with that. Okay, and then, oh, I'll just start on this little stack that was left. Okay, so I'm excited to get that going on. I don't know how far I'll get. And I need to cut up more material, but I just don't want to do that yet. But see, all those things are steps to quilting. And I know certain colors I'm going to be using. But I really do like it. Her back will be all gray. And then the front will just be whatever we got. I'm hot. I'm going to have to open that door. It's going to be interesting. For sure. Yes, indeedy do. See, so I'm hot. My nose is running. I did take a pill, a capsule for my nose. And what it was, I went downstairs and read all the different boxes of stuff she bought. And actually, for me right now, at this point in time, allergy medicine is better than the other stuff. Meaning, the other stuff's pretty strong and you want to save it for when you really need it. Like what I got going on right now, I need mostly help with my runny nose. Drying me up. I need to go take one of those emergencies that has zinc in it. The zinc will dry you up. So you want to dry yourself up before you get too bad off. I hope that I'm not going to get that green stop. Oh, hot. I can open a window, I guess. And then I'd be cold. I don't know what you can see. I could turn that other light on, I guess. You see, I'm just, as one finishes, I'm going ahead and sewing off the edge. And then I'm just sliding in the next piece, because it'll slide in and then the feet will grab it. Like that one, I went way off the edge, but you need room to do that anyway. Okay, so like, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just going to slide it. Excuse me. Slide it underneath, and the feet are going to grab it. Now, what I'm sliding underneath is just a thin piece of material. It's not the batting. The batting is not to the edge. So this does just, that could be another reason for doing it this way. But I am excited because I'm going to be putting me a puzzle together today. And she'll just have to enjoy it. I'm glad they want me to. I mean, I've been told. Tyler said, just do what you want. But he might not have known what he was, asking for. but it will be something his grandma made, so that's cool, right? Yeah, I feel like I got the wrong clothes on. I've got leggings on. And they keep me warm. But I don't know about temperatures. I'm not sure if I have a thermometer, actually. But I imagine Jessie does. You can tell when you got a fever. So that video that's on my post of that woman doing the quilt, I have watched that over and over again. And I will be watching it as I do it. I have to have enough blocks for the first row. But see, after that it becomes easier. And it almost just seems like it would be easy all the way. I don't know why you have to do that first thing that way. Oh, I do. I do. So you're going to make a row of blocks. And then that second row, you're going to be attaching it at the same time as you do the first row of blocks. You are going to be okay, first you do the row, and then you start. Okay, then you start doing all the other rows. Like she's got the back square is the same as the front, but what was I going to say about that? I don't remember. Truth is, I love you more than I wanted to. Okay. So you probably can't see me now, but it don't matter. All this, I'm just going to be cutting them apart. And these now have 2. See, when I have all of them have 2, then I can go play with my squares. Because that's the other thing that's different about this. Is that you're only going to do those 2 rows. And then when you put it together, and you add the backing, see the backing won't be attached, right? So on the backing, you're going to do the other 2 rows. So it will be, it made it easier to sew this, so you don't have such thick material to go through. And it'll be at least only half of what you got to do. But I'm excited that you don't have to case it. So in the learning of things, I don't know your name, the one who was saying you'd love to sew and you were a scrapbooker. You learn things like me, okay? I don't know what I was doing. So I did the mug rugs, but I was just going to do mug rugs. I ended up making it a quilt. Mug rugs would have been beautiful, but, you know, are you going to sell them? Maybe not. I just decided instead of trying to sell stuff, I would make my kids something that they can have of their grandma and their mother. These are my daughter's squares, okay. Once I get these all together, I'm going to go play. I'm going to lay them out on my bed. And then I will know what to do with that first row I was talking about. Okay, I gotta sew some more now. I'm gonna smack him upside the head. $34, $44. It was 43. But the seconds of time just keep on going by, don't they? Okay, so I'll turn the sewing machine there. Yes, I know. This is the boring part, right? So what can we talk about? Today is Sunday. I probably should deviate and go back to something. I don't know how many. I know that there's only a few that's really watching me. I would hope that that one girl is still here, but I don't know her name. I just know I met her at Walmart in Kennewick. And her grandmother had cancer, and she had just moved up there from California and was so excited to find out that I had Jesus on my channel. I want to address something. I want to address something with you people. I had an altercation the other day. I was standing in line, and this guy in front of me, he's blabbering on about this and that and the other thing. And then I got into the conversation. I couldn't help myself. And he's in front of me. That guy was about 3 feet wide. And he had a cane. And he was probably younger than me. I can't tell. But he was giving me a bunch of crap about the name Jesus. That is not his name. This is his name. And I can't even say that name. But I've heard it a lot. And it probably has to do with Muslims. Who knows? Who knows who's calling them? Or maybe it's the Torah. I don't know which. I don't know where they got that. But the point is, I told that man, well, I told him a few things. Because he was getting in my face, man. I said, I will call him Jesus. You can call him what you want. He's the higher power. Whatever you want to call him. To me, his name is Jesus. And you will not make me call him something else if I don't want to. It doesn't really matter. Jesus is God. And God knows us all. And he knows who's talking to them. Or him. You know what I'm saying? I love Jesus. And I don't even know how to say it that other way. Joshua or some... I'd have to hear somebody say it and I'd have to practice it because I just can't. I've heard other people use it. But it's nice to know it's Jesus Christ. Jesus is the Christ. Jesus is the man. The Son of Man. Remember that? If you read your scriptures, you're going to see that. He is the Son of Man. But maybe he's... It's however you want to look at that. I love that man. Truth is, I love you more than I wanted to. To pretend. I had a thought a minute or two ago. I need to tell Jessica about it, but everybody probably think I'm crazy. We have to figure that out because, you know, when you don't got a lot of money and you got a lot of people, first of all, they haven't started doing the draw your name thing. So you don't have to buy everybody a present. You just buy one person a present. But another thing is white elephant. White elephant. Now, to me, a white elephant is something different probably than other people. But like finding something that you already have to give away that someone else might love and can't afford. Now, myself, I'm looking for a Alexa. In other words, I want to have an Alexa up here in my room, and I want to be able to say, hey, I want to hear this, and she has it right there and plays it. I mean, what a wonderful thing. And they do use it. There's one downstairs, and they use it some. Not a lot, but they do use it, so. Just saying, I'm not thinking that she's going to let go of that. However, I hope I love this quilt. I love those other ones, and I didn't know if they were going to work out at all. Truth is, oh, see, there I am lifting that up. Don't do that. And I turned you around again. Okay, whoops. Da 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 da. See, I got all these things. So there's many steps to this quilting thing. And it's definitely different than the old days. And I don't know, they might still do it. And this could be shared. I mean, all the different steps could be shared by other people. In other words, the choosing of the material. I'm expecting it. Full-fledged. Expecting sickness. And I've already seen it in those guys, so it's not cool what's coming. But like I said before, I went downstairs and looked through the medicine cabinet, and I was going to take a Theraflu or an Alka-Seltzer Bang. But they have so many different symptoms that they're working on, and I don't need those yet. And that stuff's expensive, so I don't want to be taking it and not needing it. I know, I already told you. So I grabbed allergy medicine is what I did, because it's for runny nose, sneezing. I don't really have the sneezing yet. I did a little bit, but I hope that's correct.
Major breakthrough discovery sheds light on what may be a major cause in brain meningioma.
Okay, let's see. What was I doing? Your pens, sewing pens, should arrive today. Track. Okay, well, neato. I hope they're strong. I ordered 1,000 pens. But it will make me smile if they are strong and sharp. Truth is, I love you more than I wanted to. Oh well. I've got a headache started. I probably should have taken the other. But that's another thing, you guys, you need to remember. When taking Theraflu and probably also Alka-Seltzer, I believe there's aspirin already in there. So you don't want to double up. Like I was going to take it's actually a Goody powder. I like my BC powders better. But they supposedly have the same things in them. Okay, I'll just go ahead and put this stack back here. Nothing makes you feel better than being sick. Understand? It's the truth. When you're sick, you feel sick, okay? But when you get well, it feels so good. Sorry. I hope I like this type of quilt. And yeah, so for future quilts, before I go cutting up anything, I might want to change to an 8-inch. I have a ruler coming, but it's really only a 6.5 inch. It's a 6.5 inch square that I can use my rotary tool with to cut squares. Do, 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 do. Yes, I trimmed my batting more. Because I just didn't, oh, that's the wrong thing. Didn't think it was trimmed enough. I am starving. Hunger. Okay, there's something down there. I knew something was missing. All right, we'll put this down here. There. Alrighty then. Let's keep on trucking. Keep on trucking, baby. Da 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 da. Yeah, I should take something for my head. Do 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 do. Oh, I hope she likes it. Do 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 do. Looking at you, you looking at me. Okay, let's see. What do we got over here? There's a bunch. Okay. Anyway, it says my pin should be arriving. Okay, let's see. Let's just start in the middle. Truth is, I love you more than I wanted to. See, that's the chance you take. You might think you're not in love, but you can fall in love. However, you have to keep it up. Do 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 do. Yeah, I cut too much off of them on some. But they still should be fine. Okay. To pretend. Do 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 do. It's just a shame, that's all. Okay, I'll put those back there. Doesn't seem like I have enough. Oh, I put those back over there, didn't I? Okay, okay, good. I was gonna say, what happened to my squares? Okie dokie. My iPad's in the other room, and that's where my scriptures are, but we don't need to talk about, we don't need to read scriptures. You guys have scriptures you should be reading. Especially you members of the church. I already know that. My foot pedal gets away from me, and then it doesn't work. See, this quilt that I'm going to be doing is like putting a puzzle together. Definitely. But once the first row is done, it's a lot easier, is my point. She makes it look easier. Because I love you more than I wanted to. Oh, you're looking at me. Quit looking at me. Go over there. Oh my. The hair on there. I'll have to bring the vacuum cleaner up here before long. Alright, come on, no puckering. Do 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 do. To pretend. Well, there must have really been a thing going on. Alright, I know I keep turning you around. And I know, boring, boring. I shouldn't be having you watch all this stuff. I said Lola. L-A. L-O-L-A, Lola. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. She walked up to me and asked me to dance. I don't know. I don't know the words, but I know what they're saying. Okay, I have to move back up closer here. Bring you closer here. We'll do some more. I hope I have enough material. That would be groovy. This is a hit and miss, guys. I think all we got with 1 yard each of the materials that she chose. And I already had the gray. The back, she wants the whole back to be gray. It's going to be beautiful when you're watching me again. Do 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 do. More than I wanted to. Okay, get back there. Da 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 da. By doing it this way, you don't have to cut and sew and cut and sew. And yes, it doesn't appear you're getting anything done, but boy, when that last stage comes along, there you are. La 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 la. I am a sick puppy. Do, 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 do. So if I did eight squares, 8 times 6 is 48. We're not going to do that. I'm going to do 7. So 7 squares. Seven squares works out to 42 inches. 48 is 4 feet across, and that just seems too big. Do 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 do. Started looking at, well, I'm signed up with Indeed, and I got a message from them. If I wanted to go over to New Jersey, there was one job that was up to $25 an hour. And I'm talking about bud tending people. But there's places close to us that has stuff. But there just seems like there's going to be always something that's going to stop me. I mean, one job was, they're not going to want someone who doesn't have any teeth being their representative. One was a sales representative, a traveling sales representative, which, you know, I could probably do. Okay. Do 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 do. Squares. Yeah, I'm getting a headache. Hi, babe. Oh, they're back there. Okay. I'm feeling funky doodles already. Anyway, there's a lot of positions on Indeed for bud tenders, and then other things. I don't know. When I was in Colorado, me and Joe both got our badges. And that's with the Colorado State of Revenue. With that badge, we could go into any grow, any shop. I still think you have to be invited. You don't just go into the establishment and go into their inner sanctum. That doesn't work. But the point is, with that badge, you are allowed, even if they are the ones allowing you, but the government is allowing you to be in that facility. I still got my badge, but, you know, they expire. I'm not sure now how often, if it was every year or something else. But I got my badge, which means I went through an FBI background check. And here I come to Pennsylvania, and they can't give me the right to fly because I didn't have a certified marriage license to Joe. But he was saying, that guy was telling me I had to have a certified marriage license to everybody I've been married to. I just think that's not very nice, because I already had a star. I already had a driver's license where Colorado had checked me out, and I had a star on my license. I come here with all the stuff I need, even a marriage license that I didn't understand why I needed that. It was a copy. It was a photocopy, so they wouldn't accept it, even though I had everything else. Kind of silly, if you ask me. Kind of asinine, if you ask me. Yeah, my nose is running. I like being able to just sew. Because it already, I can't say my right words, but the point is I don't have to okay, well, I'm just gonna cut it off. Good enough. La 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 la. Do 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 do. Okay, here, let's go ahead and take some more off. Do 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 do. I know. I can feel it coming on, though, I can tell you. Do 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 do. Okay. Won't be long, and I'll be able to go play. Meaning, play with the squares. Do 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 do. All right. Oh, I'm tired. I went to bed early last night, too. That cat wants to come in here, and I don't want it in here. It wants to get all over my desk and all over all the other stuff that's in here that I don't want him to get on. Do 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 do. Okay. I was telling you about this quilt. So after the first row is done, the way I understand it, in my mind's eye anyway, is you are able to sew all the squares together and all the backing together and attach it to that first row, and so then it'll fold over and it's part of your next row. And she also made it sound like she did use squares for the front and the back. So she was saying, I think she used 10-inch by 10-inch squares, and it was in a see, I don't know if that's a charm pack or not, but it's kind of like that. There's so many squares already cut to 10 by 10. Excuse me. That's why she said at the end is instead of doing all one color backing, you could, you could have another charm pack. We'll just call it a charm pack. You could have another pack of 10 by 10s and then use that for the backing. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to feel caca. Oh, I got a headache, people. I probably should have took that other medicine because it gets rid of headaches. Okay. Yeah. Truth I love you more than I wanted to. Okay. Strangers in the night. Do 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 do. La 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 la. La 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 la. People are just stuck in their ways. Da 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 da. La 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 la. I don't know that I can show you when I go to play with these squares. I don't know if I can set you up enough to see it. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. See, these are ready to assemble in a row. And then I figure out how many blocks I've got. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's when she changes. Okay, so forget it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yes, my head hurts. Well, listen, people, I know it's been long. I'll be back, okay? I'm going to take my leave. And then I will see about these things. Maybe I'll go play with them a little bit and spread them out and then let you guys see that. Take care. Happy Sunday.